What's going on, everybody? Brett Burkholder here, coming to you from the Burkholder Library. Now, I know that since the COVID crisis has started, many students have had to resort to e-learning. So I thought I'd bring you the first installment of the Learning and Leisure video series in conjunction with my book called How to Sound Smarter and Actually Be Smarter. Now, I was inspired by this meme that I've seen going around Facebook several times recently about Sir Isaac Newton and how he invented calculus during his time of quarantine during the bubonic plague. Maybe you've seen it. If not, then I'll show you. So our first lesson today is on subject and object pronouns, which ironically is one of the main chapters in my book. So our main objective today in the lesson is to tackle two main questions. What are subject and object pronouns, and why do people get them mixed up so frequently? So basically, I is a subject pronoun. You use it when you are the subject of the sentence. You are the one doing the action. And me is an object pronoun. You use it when you're receiving the action. For example, if someone's doing something to you or for you. So here are a few common mistakes. First one is courtesy of a little group I belong to called Teacher Problems on Facebook. And as you can see here, here's the parent after 2 or 3 weeks of quarantine, and it pretty much looks like they've reached their limit. And as the caption says, me as a parent 3 weeks in quarantine. Now you might start asking yourself, what's the problem with that? Well, let me explain. So the problem is he's using the pronoun me instead of the pronoun I. What he really means to say is that this is what I look like after 3 weeks of quarantine. I could use some more wine, or maybe that's beer, but essentially it's the same idea, which is I've had enough. Now for the next one. The next one is from a group called We Are Teachers, and clearly you can see there's a teacher there, and the caption reads, me as soon as I'm allowed to see my students again. So what should the caption actually read? What I look like as soon as I'm allowed to see my students again. Essentially you're saying, or she's saying, that she would like to give them a big hug, so I will give them a big hug. Notice the pronoun I. It's a subject pronoun. All right, here's another one. This is a Venn diagram. Perhaps you're familiar with them. We use them a lot more in education now these days. And each circle contains a certain quality, and where we find the overlapping circles is where they share a certain characteristic. Now you can see this is a little bit about taking COVID seriously, the power of the government, and the impending economic devastation that we've experienced. So the only problem with this one is that, while I agree with the premise, is that they use me in the overlapping circles when they should use I. The problem is essentially that they're saying or stating that this is where I stand or this is where I fall. Now, you perhaps could say this is my position, but that's not what they're saying. And finally, here's something I see on Facebook quite a bit, and it's actually quite entertaining to read these conversations, but the only thing that bothers me is that they use the wrong pronouns. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, now, this is a father and a son having a conversation about football, and you can see the father is using the pronoun me and the son's initial, and the father me, son's initial, and the father me. So what's the problem with this? The problem is that he should be using the pronoun I. So here's a quick summary. I is a subject pronoun. It should be used in the subject of the sentence, and me is an object pronoun. Should basically be used in the predicate or the end of the sentence. Hope you enjoyed the video, and you can always subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you'd like more information about my book or about the Burkholder Academy of Learning and Leisure that I'll be posting on Teachable, then I'll be happy to add you to my email list if you just email me at brettburkholder@outlook.com. Take care and stay well.